I was sick unto death with that long agony. And when they at length unbound me and I was permitted to sit, I felt that my senses were leaving me. The sentence, the dread sentence of death. The sound of the inquisitorial voices seemed merged in one dreamy, intermediate hum. I saw the lips of the black-robed judges. They appeared to me whiter than the sheet upon which I traced these words. I saw them fashion the syllables of my name, and I shuddered because no sound succeeded. The figures of judges vanished as if magically. The blackness of darkness supervened. All sensations appeared swallowed up. Very suddenly there came back to my soul motion and sound, the tumultuous motion of the heart, and, in my ears, the sound of its beating. Then a rushing revival of soul and the successful effort to move. I reached out my hand, and it fell heavily upon something damp and hard. I quickly unclosed my eyes. My worst thoughts, then, were confirmed. The blackness of eternal night encompassed me. I started to my feet. In every fiber I felt nothing. The agony of suspense grew at length intolerable, and I cautiously moved forward, my arms extended. I proceeded for many paces, but still all was blackness. Quitting the wall, I resolved to cross the area of the enclosure. At first I proceeded with extreme caution, for the floor, although seemingly of solid material, was treacherous with slime. At length, however, I took courage, and did not hesitate to step firmly. Suddenly, the ground beneath me was void. I stumbled back, just barely catching myself. I put forward my arm, and shuddered to find that I had fallen at the very brink of a circular pit, whose extent, of course, I had no means of ascertaining at the moment. Just one more step, and the world would know me no more. I groped my way back to the wall, resolving there to perish rather than risk the terrors of the well. Agitation of spirit kept me awake for many long hours, but at length I slumbered. How long it lasted, of course, I knew not. But when, once again, I unclosed my eyes, the objects around me were visible, and this I saw indistinctly and by much effort. I now lay on my back, at full length, securely bound by a strap to a wooden table, leaving at liberty only my head and my left arm to such extent that I could supply myself with food, which lay by my side. Above me was pictured an image of a huge pendulum. There was something, however, in the appearance of this machine which caused me to regard it more attentively. When I gazed directly upward at it, I fancied that I saw it in motion. Afterwards, the fancy was confirmed. Its sweep was brief, and of course, slow. I watched it for some minutes. A slight noise attracted my notice, and looking to the floor, I saw several enormous rats traversing it. I again cast my eyes upward. What I saw then confounded and amazed me. The sweep of the pendulum had increased in extent by nearly a yard. I now observed, with what horror it is needless to say, I could no longer doubt the doom prepared for me by the monkish ingenuity of torture. Down and still down it came. Days passed. I grew frantically mad, and struggled to force myself upward against the sweep. And then I fell suddenly calm, and lay smiling at the glittering death. Down, steadily it crept. For many hours, the wood upon which I lay had been literally swarming with rats. With the particles of food that remained, I thoroughly rubbed the bandages wherever I could reach them. I had not counted in vain. Forth from the well they rushed in fresh troops, as they busied themselves with the anointed bandage. Nor had I erred in my calculations, nor had I endured in vain. I at length felt that I was free. But the moment of escape had arrived. With a steady movement, cautious, sidelong, shrinking, and slow, I slid from the embrace of the bandage and beyond the reach of the pendulum. For the moment, at least, I was free. I had but escaped death in one form of agony to be delivered unto worse than death in some other. As I became aware of the room around me, I realized something had changed. The room had been square. The fearful difference quickly increased with a low rumbling or moaning sound. In an instant, the apartment had shifted its form. But that alteration stopped not here. I neither hoped nor desired it to stop. Its center, and of course its greatest width, came just over the yawning gulf. Death, I said, any death but that of the pit. But the closing walls pressed me resistlessly onward. I struggled no more, but the agony of my soul found vent in one loud, long, and final scream of despair. There was a discordant hum of human voices. There was a loud blast as of many trumpets. An outstretched arm caught my own. It was that of General Lasalle. The French army had entered Toledo. The Inquisition was in the hands of its enemies.